Hello all. I am Dr. Bhagwat Manjushri Gokul from the Department of Botany, Radhabai Kale Mahila Mahavidyalay, Ahmednagar. I welcome you all to this lecture series on SYBSc theory paper first, that is BO231 Taxonomy of Angiosperms and Plant Ecology. The first chapter, it is Introduction to Angiosperms Taxonomy. So, starting with the term angiosperm taxonomy, we will see the introduction. Plant taxonomy, it is the fundamental branch of botany. This taxonomy, it is a science by which the biologists classify and organize the vast diversity on the planet Earth. So, basically, it helps the biologists to classify as well as to organize the diversity which is present on the Earth so that they can be studied in a simpler way. The correct identification of each plant, it is very necessary, because if the plant is to be used as used by a researcher or as a resource material, the correct identification is very important. Then the role of taxonomy, it is very important as it provides basic understanding about the components of the biodiversity. Recognizing and interpreting the similarities and differences among organisms, it becomes very easy if the organisms are properly classified. So, to avoid the confusion or to study a specific organism in a simpler manner, this taxonomy, it helps or it plays a very crucial role. The taxonomy, it also plays an important role in the conservation, protection as well as the utilization of biodiversity. So again, if a person has a thorough knowledge of taxonomy, it can also be helpful for the conservation, protection of the environment as well as in the proper utilization of the biodiversity. Now moving on to the definition of the term taxonomy. Taxonomy, it is defined as the study of classification, identification, description and nomenclature of the plant. So basically it is a study in which a person or a taxonomist, he studies the classification systems, he identifies a specific organism, he describes a specific organism as well as he names a particular organism. Okay, then this there is another definition of taxonomy which says that it is the study of principles and practices of classification. So there are various principles involved while naming a plant. There are various practices of classification. So the study of all these, it is included in the taxonomy. Then if you see the literal meaning of the word taxonomy, it is the lawful arrangement or the arrangement by rules of specific things. So certain rules, they have to be followed while studying the taxonomy. So basically this word, it is derived from the Greek word taxis, which means arrangement, and the word normus, which means laws or rules. So basically it is a study in which we arrange the organisms by specific rules or by specific laws. The term, it was first coined by A.P.D. Kendall in the year 1813. Then according to G.H.M. Lawrence in the year 1955, taxonomy, it is a science which includes identification, nomenclature and classification of objects and is usually restricted to the objects of biological origin. So according to Lawrence, he said that it is the study of or it is a science which includes identification, nomenclature as well as classification, but it is restricted only to the biological or the living organisms. Then the taxonomy, it also deals with the study of phenetic, genetic and phylogenetic relationships among the living organisms. That is, it means whatever the variations we see at the genetic level or the interrelationships among the organisms or the evolutionary relationships among the organisms, they are also studied under the taxonomy. The taxonomy, it not only identifies the plants but it also explains the natural relationships among different plant groups. So it not only helps us in identifying the plants, but it also helps us to study what are the natural relationships present among the different group of plants. Now, moving on to the next subtopic, that is the scope of taxonomy. So, why this? What is the scope of this taxonomy? We are going to see. So, the first of all, taxonomy, it has a very important role as an information storage and retrieval system. So, whatever plants we study, whatever data we collect after studying the plants, all this information, it can be stored and it can be retrieved whenever necessary. So the taxonomy, it plays important role both in the storage as well as in the retrieval system of the plants. Then the knowledge of taxonomy, it is indispensable for foresters, geneticists, plant breeders, plant pathologists, and even the biotechnologists. So whichever field you take, in all the fields, specifically the foresters, geneticists, plant breeders, plant pathologists, these are the people who continuously have an interaction with the plants, or they have to deal with the plants. So the basic necessity or the basic need of them is to know the taxonomy. Then even the biotechnologists who introduce new genes into the crop plants for increasing the yield, for developing the disease resistance in the plants, these people, they also need to have the knowledge of the taxonomy, because to isolate a specific characteristic from a plant, the biologist or biotechnologist, he should have the knowledge of the taxonomy of that specific plant. Then even the pharmacists, these are the people who analyze the plant material for different type of crude drugs, and many a times they are the people who invent or discover some new medicines against specific diseases, for example some cancer inhibiting drugs. So for again, for this pharmacists, they should also have the proper knowledge of taxonomy. Then the scientific naming of plants, it is also an effective means of communication all over the world. So to just avoid the confusion over a certain plant, because there is a saying that the language, it changes from what we can say place to place or region to region. So many a times the same plant is identified by some different names or the vernacular names, which may be not known to the other people. So to avoid this confusion, a scientific name should be given to is given to the plant, so that the plant, it is correctly identified, and it will be a effective mean of communication all over the world. Even the ecologists who study the pollution or the pollutant decomposers, they are also benefited by plant taxonomy, as it is important for them to identify the organisms which is involved in the decomposition. Even in case of agriculture, horticulture, plant breeding, medicinal studies, all these fields, the experts, they should have the knowledge of taxonomy. Again, taxonomy, it is a useful science for the conservation of biodiversity. So it can also help to conserve our biodiversity, and it is of prime importance in establishing the gene banks as well as the germplasm collection. So whatever gene banks we have or whatever germplasm is collected, if we don't have the proper knowledge of taxonomy, we are not going to we will not be able to collect or maintain this gene bank. So from this we can say there is a huge scope to this taxonomy, because it can be used in various fields. Then again, the taxonomists, they also prepare exhaustive floristic inventory of ecosystems which are helpful to study the extinct plant species. So the taxonomists, what they do, they study a specific ecosystem in which the, what we can say, extinct plant species, they can also be studied. Then the proper assessment, utilization, and conservation of biodiversity, it cannot be done without the knowledge of taxonomy. So if you want to conserve the biodiversity, if you want to utilize the biodiversity or plants for various purposes, then we should have the proper knowledge of taxonomy. The taxonomy, it has also equal role in survival and improving man's life. So the human beings or the man, he is directly or indirectly dependent upon the plants for his survival. Not only survival, but for improving the standard of life, the plants, they play an important role. For example, the basis of sufficiency of food, fodder, fuel, as well as fibers, they are totally dependent upon these plants. The taxonomy, it also plays an important role in green revolution as well as the gene revolution. So in both the cases, a thorough knowledge of taxonomy should be there. Again, the taxonomy, it plays a significant role in agriculture, horticulture, as well as forestry in developing high yielding varieties. So, whatever new varieties or high yielding varieties are prepared or made, these people who are involved are the agriculturists, horticulturists, and even the foresters. So all these people, they should have a thorough knowledge of this taxonomy. The pharmaceutical industries, they largely depend on plant taxonomic information to select plant varieties of their interest. So whatever uh, resources or whatever material the pharmaceutical industries are going to use to extract a specific crude drug, in that case also the taxonomic knowledge, it proves to be very important. Then the inventory of plants, books, monographs, floras, and other published work on plant taxonomy, it helps in selecting plants from their natural environment. So whatever the floras or monographs they are published, they help us to understand the taxonomy. And whenever we are going to select a specific plant from the natural environment, these all the literature, it is going to help us. Then this taxonomy, it also helps in complying fragmentary knowledge of scattered fossil records of various plants. The identification, naming, and classification of fossils can also be done with the help of taxonomy. So, whatever fossils we get, so all these records, they are in a scattered manner. So to compile all this knowledge, one needs to have the knowledge of taxonomy. With the help of this, we can also study the fossils, and we can also identify as well as name and classify these fossils. Now, moving on to the objectives of taxonomy. The first objective of taxonomy is to provide a convenient method of identification and communication. Again, it provides a classification system which is based on natural affinities of organisms. It also helps to provide information regarding relationship between various disciplines of biological sciences and taxonomy to generate the data for synthesizing a system of classification. It also helps to provide an inventory of plant taxa by means of floras, monographs, manuals, etc., to pursue evolution, find out its process, and interprets its result, to provide phenetic, natural, or phylogenetic data, and to restore the knowledge of past and present plants. So, all these are the basic objectives of studying the taxonomy. Now, how these objectives they can be achieved? There are two approaches by which these objectives can be achieved, out of which the first one is the empirical approach. The empirical approach is based on practical experiences, observations of facts, and characters of the organism. So, whatever field experiences we have, whatever practical experiences we have, which are totally based on the facts which we have observed and the characters which are present in the organisms, all this is called as the empirical approach. The second approach is the interpretative approach. The interpretative approach, it is based on evolution of a taxon, or in other words we can say it is a phylogenetic classification based on the past history of a taxon. So when the process of evolution takes place, the this evolution, while, or other words we can say the phylogenetic classification which is based on the past history, this approach is called as the interpretative approach. Now besides this, Whereas a taxonomist, he also explores, or exploration is also done by this taxonomist. So what is exploration? So botanical exploration, it basically includes continuous visits to an area in different seasons for a period of few years for intensive collection of plants and their study with respect to morphological characters, reproductive characters, flowering season, ecological studies, pollination, seed dispersal, seed germination, pollinators, etc. So, exploration is nothing but the field visits, we can say, and these field visits, they are to be carried out in different seasons for a period of few years or many years, so that a person or a taxonomist or a explorer who is exploring the region, he will be able to study the morphological characters, the reproductive characters, the flowering season of a plant, or the pollination method, the seed dispersal method, the seed germination, as well as who are the pollinators of the plant. So all this detailed study can be done by that person. This botanical exploration, it is primarily aimed for compilation of floristic information about different plants. So when a person intends to compile or to study the floristic information about a specific plant, he needs to explore a specific region. Then the second term is the description. Now, the description of a taxon, it includes the listing of different characteristic features of a plant. So, while describing a plant, what we do, we enlist the different characteristic features of a plant. Then this description, it should be accurate, and the taxonomic characters, based on the taxonomic characters, it will help us to separate a taxon from a closely related taxa. So if the two taxa, they are closely related, one has to accurately describe the species or the specimen, so that the two taxa, they can be separated. And thus the characters on which we have separated, or what we can say, separated the two taxon, is forms the diagnosis, and such characters, they are called as the diagnostic characters. Then the description, it is to be recorded in specific format, that is, we have to describe the we have to give the description of habit of the plant: stem, leaves, flowers, sepals, petals, stamens, carpels, fruits, etc. So each and every part of the plant is to be described in detail. The description, it should be recorded in semi-technical language using specific terms for each character. So there are some specific terminologies which are used for the description of these plants. So these terms, they are to be used. Then the fresh specimens, they are easily described, or they can be easily described, but the problem is with the dry specimens. For describing the dry specimen, one should soften the material, so that the proper description and proper dissection of the flowers can be done, so that the plant is described accurately. Then the next important aspect of the taxonomy are identification, nomenclature, and the classification. So while studying taxonomy, these are the three important aspects which are to be covered in the taxonomy. First one is the identification, second one is the nomenclature, and third one is the classification. We'll just see them one by one. First one is the identification. Identification or determination is nothing but to recognize an unknown specimen. So whenever we have a unknown specimen, our prime duty, or what we can say, our prime role is to identify that specimen or to determine that specimen. Now this can be done with, based on the overall similarities and differences within an already known taxon. So we can compare that specimen with already known taxon, so that we can jot down the similarities as well as differences between the two plants. Thus, the gross morphological characters, they are sufficient for provisional identification, but the other characters may also be considered. So for the basic identification or provisional identification, some basic morphological characters, they are also sufficient, but many more characters can be studied for a detailed or accurate identification. For this identification, the floras, monographs, manuals, or the available source of literature, they can be used. Then there are also some methods by which a plant specimen can be identified. For example, the expert determination. So one can seek the help of an expert to study the specimen. It is a reliable and accurate method of identification. The second method is the recognition. It is based on the extensive past experience of the identifier with the plant or the plant group. So based on the experiences that the person have with that plant or that specific plant group, he or she can easily recognize the plant. The third method is comparison. This method involves comparison of a plant with identified specimens, illustrations, photographs, or the description. So whatever photographs maybe we have, or we have description of a specific plant, so we can just compare the already with the data that we already have with the plant which is unknown to us. So both the specimens, they can be compared and they can be easily identified. And finally, the fourth method is the use of keys, synopsis, outlines, etc. So identification keys, they are the series of taxonomic literature which with statements requiring the identifier to make comparisons and decisions based on the statements given in the keys. So the keys are the, what we can say, it is a series of taxonomic literature which have some statements, and what we have to do, we have to compare and make decisions by observing those by observing the specimen and the statements given. If the statement and the observation matches, we can just relate the material which is to be identified. Then the next important aspect of taxonomy is nomenclature. So once the taxon is identified, now it becomes necessary to give it a scientific name. So the nomenclature, it deals with the determination of a correct scientific name for a taxon. Then the nomenclature, it is governed by the International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, that is the ICBN. Latin is the language which is used in biological nomenclature. One has the liberty to select the names from any language, but these words or these names, they should be Latinized, or they are deemed to be in Latin. The binomial nomenclature system, it consists of two words, that is the generic name and the specific epithet. That is, you can say that the name of the genus and name of the species. And as this scientific name, it is comprised of two words, it is called as binomial nomenclature or the binomial name. These binomials, usually they should be typed in italics, or if they are to be handwritten, they should be properly underlined separately. For example, Mangifera indica, you can see in the typed format, it has been written in the italic form, but in case of but if it is to be written with hand, the name, it should be underlined. Then the next important aspect of taxonomy is classification. Classification, it is nothing but the arrangement of organisms into groups on the basis of similarities and differences. So based on the similar characters and the different, or the what we can say, difference in the characters, the organisms, they can be grouped into or classified into different groups. In this sequence, in sequence of increasing inclusiveness, the groups are assigned to a fixed hierarchy of categories such as the species, genus, family, order, series, class, division, and the kingdom. So the highest ranking is the kingdom and the lowest one is the species. So according to this hierarchy, the plants they are to be organized. Then the classification is thus an arrangement of plants into groups with particular characteristics according to certain criteria and placing them within the taxonomic hierarchy. So it is what we can say, these plants they are placed according to the hierarchy based on the particular characteristics. Okay, then there are basically three types of classification systems. The first one is the artificial classification, natural system of classification, and the phylogenetic system of classification. The first system, that is the artificial classification system, it is based on the arbitrary or easily observable characters, which means these are totally based on what we can say understanding of the person who is classifying the plant. So whatever characters are easily observable by him, he can use that characters based on his own understanding. So for this, characters such as habit of the plant, color of the plant, number of the stamens, etc., this can be used irrespective of their natural affinity, which means if I want, I can if I want to consider the color of the flower as a character for classification, then what I can do, all the flowers bearing white color, they will be grouped in a particular group, and the flowers with red color, they will be grouped in some other group. So just based on this, what we can say, observable character, I have classified these plants. So this has no concern with its natural affinity, whether the plants they are related or not related, it will not have any effect on the system. So such a system is called as the artificial classification system. In the year 1735, Linnaeus gave a system called as the Linnaeus system, and this was an example of artificial classification system. What he did, he just utilized the number of stamens present in the flower, and based on this character he classified the plants. So that is the artificial classification system. Then the second type of system is the natural system. This system, it is based on the overall similarity in grouping taxa, considering most gross morphological characters. So this is one of the most widely practical based system which is used, and the example of this system is the Bentham and Hooker's system of classification. And the third type of classification system is the phylogenetic classification. So this classification, it is mainly based on the known and inferred evolutionary descent of a group of plants. So basically what we can say, the relationship among the plants, or the evolutionary relationship among the plants, based on these characters the plants are classified into different groups. Example of such type of classification is the Hutchinson system, which was given in the year 1926, and the Engler and Prantl system, which was given in the year 1964. Now coming to the last part of this chapter, that is the concept of systematics. So what is systematics? Systematics, it is defined as the study of biological diversity and the relationships among organisms. So basically the study of diversity and the relationships which different organisms share with each other is called as the systematics. Now, the taxonomy and systematics, these are the two terms which cannot be separated completely, but both are frequently used as synonyms, or they can be used as interchangeably, they can be used. Manson in the year 1950 considered taxonomy as a vast field of biological science, including comparative study of the organisms, taxonomic systems, nomenclature, and documentation. Then some other authors like Simpson, Haywood, Ross, and many others, they treated systematics as a field which covers the study of diversity, differentiation, and the relationship that exist among the organisms. Few Another scientist named Small in the year 1989 defined systematics as the science of organization and pattern of heritable relationships among the kinds and diversity of organisms. According to some other botanists, systematics it is the study of diversity of plants and their identification, naming, classification, and evolution, while taxonomy is restricted to the study of classification. So there are two views regarding this term systematics. Some scientists they say that systematics and taxonomy they are the same, but according to some, the taxonomy it deals with the identification, naming, classification, and evolution, whereas taxonomy it is restricted to the study of just the classification. So that is about the systematics. I hope this lecture was what we can say, you are able to understand this lecture. So thank you so much.